Good morning. It is Thursday.
Thursday.
It is also Earth Day.
Earth Day?
Earth Day.
Oh, Earth. It's Earth Day?
I think so. That's what it said on the Morning Brew.
Did you confirm on Google?
I confirmed on the Morning Brew.
Oh, well then, what a trustworthy source. Happy Earth Day, everybody.
And happy Thursday.
So go make a turd on the earth. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. It fertilizes the earth.
Yeah. It's amazing.
We were actually watching a documentary this weekend about how the global warming is it's really devastating, you guys. One of the reasons why I want this mission to be so successful is so that we can literally donate millions of dollars to
whatever we feel will benefit
animal what do you remember the name of the documentary? Maybe they can go watch it.
It's a show. Oh, it's really hot. It's a show on Netflix. I think it's just called Planet Earth or something like that.
But it's incredible. It is, I mean, for one, it's such a good documentary, but it's also like you get a really good perspective on what is going on and where we're headed. And it's no wonder why, the smart man called Elon Musk is working relentlessly to try to take us to Mars.
Well, it's not just about that. It's just about the circle of life, and it takes you through like all different types of environments, like the jungle versus a rainforest versus the ocean versus, and it's like
the Arctic.
The Arctic. Like, how do different species live? Where do they live? How do they, who are the predators? How do each species live? It's really cool. I was just fascinated by it.
So we talked about our relationship with animals. We love animals. Today's relationship day. So I would love, since we're on the topic of animals, though we will transition from that, I want to know.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals, so let's do it then, on the Discovery Channel.
Drop a comment if you're an animal lover. Dog mom, cat dad, hamster dad,
snake parent.
Boogie saw a raccoon today, you guys. If you guys have been following Boogie ever since we moved to Florida, he's been obsessed with lizards, but it's like in the mornings, it's like things get only more interesting. Last week, I don't know what that little thing was.
A possum. I'm like, get him away from that thing.
It was so scared of Boogie. It was like going in circles. I was like, that thing was going crazy.
I think
Boogie was singing like love songs.
I think that Sergeant's singing voice was so terrifying that it put him in a trance, and he was
like in circles. I was like, is that a defense mechanism?
Whatever the possum, he or she, was having a seizure because Boogie, like the voice that breaks glass.
Maybe if you guys are lucky for Earth Day, he will sing to you his national anthem.
I'm sure he got upon Earth.
He probably did.
This whole week's theme has been something about pooping butts and farts, and
I'm not the one who started it.
Are you not the one who started it? I remember.
No. One of the questions was talking about eating like an asshole. But
you started it.
Anyways, today he saw a raccoon. We thought it was a cat at first, and he would go and try to chase it.
I was not there. You thought it was a cat.
At first, I thought it was a cat until I realized it was a raccoon.
She comes in the house. She's like, hey, what are those things with the stripes? You know, this animal with the stripes? They kind of look like cats. We saw them by the garbage can. We discovered it was a raccoon. I'm like, huh. Probably something we should go away from.
All right, let's talk about
Yeah.
commitments. Just like Boogie's committed to chasing his friends.
How to stay committed.
You guys, this is so powerful. So, yes, though it will enhance your relationship, especially your romantic relationship, this conversation is actually a life conversation with regards to anything.
Anything.
However, it definitely applies to relationships, especially with your significant other. So, just so you guys know, we can't see any comments for some reason today.
Uh-oh.
Unless. Yeah, I would love to see who's in the room, but we can't see anything. We're still learning this new feature. Apparently, there's 49 comments that we can't see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, please know that we can see your comments today.
We're gonna put out good vibes that it's just gonna pop up.
Yeah.
Can I go back for just half a second though, in regards to how this applies to anything? Relationships are all around, and they're not just with people. You have a relationship with food. You have a certain relationship with your morning and evening routines. You have a certain relationship with your fitness.
With your body.
You have a certain relationship with your body, with your job. So
with your goals, with the home that you live in, with the place that you live in.
Yep. So consider when we talk about this topic of how to stay committed, that this really applies to anything that you do on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. I would like to look up the word commitment.
I can't wait to get to the mechanics of today, you guys.
Can you type it in? Because I don't know how to spell.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Commitment. The state or quality of being dedicated to a cause, activity, etc. I know that we've read this before. I think it might have been this week. An engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. I remember reading this. The state or quality of being dedicated. Can we look up dedication? What does it mean to be dedicated?
We're just having a conversation about how I don't like to use a mouse.
Well,
dedication or dedicated?
Dedication. The quality of being dedicated. When they use the word in the
committed, or committed to a task or purpose.
Okay. So dedication. The quality of being dedicated. Look up dedicated. Here, I will. We're going to do this. Can you press Command C? Okay. All right. Devoted. Here we go. Devoted to a task or purpose, having single-minded loyalty or integrity. Single-minded loyalty or integrity. Single-minded, 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 meaning there is no other option. Single-minded. Devoted to a task or purpose, having single-minded loyalty or integrity.
Powerful.
Commitment means I am committed to this. I am committed to this means that I am single-mindedly loyal and dedicated to this thing. Okay. Proceed.
So you may wonder, well, how do I stay committed? So the first thing is that you have to make it a priority. Otherwise, it is non-existent or it's just going to be flawed.
How do you know that you made something a
non-existent relationship is still a relationship. You know what I mean? So whether you choose to ignore doing a workout or you actually show up for it, you still have a relationship with it. But if you make it a priority, now you have a committed relationship instead of a non-existent relationship. So
I found their comments.
So something that you should ask yourself with regards to all the things that you have a relationship with, you should probably make a list of the things that you have a relationship with, be it your home, your spouse, your whatever. Is it a committed relationship, or maybe a troubled relationship, or an existing relationship?
I would start with the relationships that stick out to you the most obvious ones that you have. Like with your significant other, which is, you know, the inspiration of this episode just in general, but then also the relationship you have with yourself, the relationship you have with the other people who are closest to you. People make things happen. So focusing first on like the relationships that you have with yourself and the things that directly involve you that have the most are the most prominent, I think is the right word, in your life, and the people who are the most prominent in your life.
I can tell you this, the more often you make your relationship with that person or thing, the more committed you are going to be for that person or thing. The more often, hold on, we're getting phone calls. The more often you make it a priority, the more committed you will be. For example, the more often you work out, the more committed you're going to be to your workouts. The more often you track what you eat, the more committed you're going to be to your food. The more often you check your bank account, the more committed you're going to be to your relationship with money. The more often you communicate with your spouse, the more committed you're going to be.
I found the comments.
So, knowing your life and basically like all the layers that are within your life, you know, figure out where are you at right now with regards to making it a priority. Is it non-existent? Is it weekly, couple days a week, or maybe even daily? So let's take, for example, when we just met. Okay, when we just met, we were in a bi-coastal relationship. I lived in the East Coast, Erin lived on the West Coast. But we knew that we were committed to one another because we made it a priority, regardless of the time difference, regardless of the 3,000 mile in distance, to FaceTime with one another literally every single day. When there's a will, there is a way. And that's why when somebody tells me, Sarit, I'm too busy to work out, I'm like, you would just rather have a non-existent relationship with your workouts than a committed relationship with your workouts. You know, and you know, that's why a lot of couples who at the beginning, like they're, let's say you meet and the relationship evolves, right? We talked about couples go step 1, step 2, and step 3, right? Let's say if you go from step 1 to step 2, you go from going on one date to going on multiple dates. From going on multiple dates, you now go to, you know, moving in with one another so that you can stay in each other's lives on a more frequent basis. The more times you make something a priority, the more likely you are to be committed. But that does not guarantee that.
Or does it go the other way?
Just hold on.
Okay.
That's the next point.
Okay.
Just because you do something more often, that doesn't mean that you are committed alone. So we're going to move on to the next part, but you probably have something to say. So.
The chicken or the egg? Am I committed before I made it a priority, or did I make it a priority before I became committed?
You make it a priority beforehand because you have to decide before you commit.
you don't make it a priority if you're not committed.
Right. But you have to decide.
So you commit first.
Yeah, and making it a priority.
The chicken or the egg.
Making it a priority is the outcome.
Yes, commit.
But not all the time, because what happens, a lot of couples who at the beginning, they were great, you know, they have,
oh yes, I see where you're going.
And now you know, they live together, they've been married for 5 years, they see one another every day. Does that mean that they're committed to one another? Does that...
I'm seeing the difference though. When it comes to people, you may prioritize but not necessarily be committed initially. But when it comes to things, you will not prioritize unless you have a commitment to. Right? I was thinking on the spectrum of a project. Right? I will not prioritize a project unless I'm committed to it.
Right?
Right? Or committed to something that ties into that. I'm committed to my job and it requires me to do this project. Right? So I will prioritize the project, but commitment came first. With the relationship with another human being, I could see it more often than not going the opposite way. And that's the track you were on, where it's like, I'll prioritize you because this thing, whatever it is, seems fun, it's exciting, I'm learning about you, it's new, it's fresh, we're having new experiences, you know, I'm prioritizing it, but I'm not necessarily fully committed. Food for thought. I was going to say, my thought was, why do we struggle? Why is there a struggle to commit? And I thought of a couple things, and I'm sure there's more, but this was just off of the top of my noggin. One of the reasons is there's not enough communication. So you're not on the same page. Easy now, easy now. So if you're not communicating, you're going to have a hard time continuing to be committed because you don't know where the other person's at. Not growing in the same direction. You're not growing in the same direction. You don't see it as fit to be committed, or you have a harder time committing because you're not sure what the future holds. None of us are sure what the future holds, but this is to the extent where I have a hard time even visualizing a future with you because we're not growing in the same direction. And typically that is, you know, one person is developing themselves, wanting to get better, wanting to grow, wanting to learn more, wanting to be challenged. Other person wants to sit on the couch and stay cozy in not cozy land. That would be growing in different directions. Or one growing, one not.
Did you intend to transition to the next point? Because if so, you did that with extreme finesse.
Ooh, talk dirty to me. No, there was another thing that I thought of too. We have a hard time staying committed because the reward, either the payoff is not big enough. Why am I going to be committed to something if I don't see how it's beneficial or brings fulfillment somehow to my life? And another kind of, I think, side piece of that is that we're so focused on a destination and the obstacles in the way rather than the opportunities in the process. So we have a hard time getting committed because we're focused on the wrong thing. In a relationship, I want to get married. I had a friend several years ago who so desperately wanted to have the husband, the kids.
From Oregon, right?
Yeah, the white picket fence, the, whatever. And got married to somebody who was so completely wrong for her. He ended up cheating on her. It was this, but she just so badly, she's like, I want to get married and I want to have kids. She was so focused on the end destination that the whole process got so messed up because the commitment wasn't in the person. The commitment was to an outcome, but you don't end up with a fulfilling outcome if you don't commit to the process. The people who are the most successful in life are committed not to the outcome but to the process.
Oof, you're dropping gold like in like heavy flow today.
Ooh, I got a heavy flow today. Ooh. I don't know what else to say now.
That's so good. But we talked about how the more often you practice something, the greater the likelihood that you're making it a priority. There are always exceptions, because let's say, what if you've been married for 5 years and you don't spend enough time together? The next part is evolving together. Okay, so frequency is not everything. Okay, and the same thing goes for your workouts as well. Like the person who goes to the gym 5 days a week to do the same goddamn cardio is not going to evolve in their fitness, and therefore they're going to stall with their results. Versus if you continue to evolve with your fitness, then you're going to show up for it better, and it's going to be a lot more fulfilling. So it's easier to stay committed to that. Okay, so it's more than just the frequency. It is also about making it a priority to evolve together. Because in life, you guys, Erin and I are not the same people that we were yesterday, nor are we the same people that we'll be tomorrow. And how many times have you heard it in either past relationships or, maybe like people have told you that you're not the same person you were when we very first met? Duh, I'm not. Like, of course.
I am, but I'm not. I am, but I'm an evolved version. Right?
But you're not the same person.
You are the same. You are in the same shell. You have the same brain. You are the same human being.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
All the memories you have are of all of your life the same person.
Right.
But there's such thing as evolution. And this is why I want to talk about if you're growing in not in the same direction, one person is evolving, they'll be perceived as a different person. But really what happened was you just missed the evolution. Why?
You didn't make it a priority to be involved in the evolution.
Or I would say lack of communication. If one person, let's say, is like reading a bunch of books, doing self-development, things like that, but the other person is not, like, they never talk about it, yeah, you're going to miss the evolution. And one day you're going to wake up and it's going to be like, wow, you're not the same person I met, either good or bad. You can evolve backwards.
And sometimes the evolution might mean that you go your separate ways. That as you guys evolve together, you realize, like, shit, man, like, it's not meant to be. Like Rachel Hollis and whatever, I think her ex-husband, Mark, like, so many of their fans, like, made such a shit about it. When their evolvement led to that, there's no bad blood. Yeah. And sometimes that happens, but that's why, it's important to make it a priority so that you're able to make decisions, because by the end of the day, we're all on this planet for a limited amount of time. So you might as well make it a priority to live your most fulfilling life.
The way that you get bad blood in a situation like that too is, when there is no bad blood, both parties need to have a certain degree of maturity and humility to understand that it isn't personal. It may feel like it. I don't know if there's a way to really, like, avoid 100%, not taking it personally. Because when you're in a relationship and somebody's like, this isn't working, it's so easy to be like, oh, I did something wrong, I'm not good enough, I'm whatever, right? But there's a certain level of like understanding and mutual respect and humility that comes with being able to separate and still have respect for one another. And that very much has to do with who each individual is as a person and how they think through these situations. There's been people we've parted ways with where it's, not been like pleasant on one end or the other. And there's people that we've parted ways with where great, we can still have conversations and there's no bad blood, but it's like we just don't see the need for what you need in your life and for what I need in my life. This isn't aligning, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to recognize that it's for the greater good of both parties. But if somebody's very closed-minded, and takes offense easily to it, then it's hard for it makes a situation difficult.
Yeah. Because the evolution is happening, but they're just choosing to ignore it. But the point is to make it a priority to evolve together, because otherwise by default, because every day we wake up, from our previous experiences, just becoming a different person. I guarantee that each and every one of you guys, you do not operate the same way in life post-COVID as you are pre-COVID. Guaranteed. You're not the same person, right? But evolve to make it a priority to evolve together. Otherwise, chances are is that you're going to evolve apart. And for anybody who's listening, if there's somebody in your life who's like, oh, you're not the same person you were when we very first met. I mean, our body is the greatest description of how evolution happens. Like when you're a baby, you look a certain way. When you're a kid, you look a certain way. You're not the same. You're not the same. You've got the same soul. You've got a different body. Therefore, you've got a different mind. You become a teenager, you're not the same as you were when you were a child. You become an adult, that's different. You don't act the same way in your 30s as you do in your 20s. Things shift. Same thing goes for 40s. Same thing goes for 50s.
Some people act the same way when they're 50 as they did when they were 20.
Some people do.
Let's not lie. Some people do.
But like, and let's say as we age as well, right? We go from this small thing to this bigger thing to this bigger thing. And most people go from this bigger thing to also this bigger thing because they don't take care of themselves. Like our body evolves, but if you make it a priority to eat clean, to go to the gym, you're not going to evolve this way. You're going to evolve that way, right?
You're not going to evolve.
You're going to evolve to become fit, not fat. And the last thing is, because if you miss that piece, then you're going to miss the first two pieces, and that is recommit. Recommitment is an act that happens every single day. For example, a couple gets married, okay? They make this official commitment to one another. World, from now on, this woman is my property.
I don't think most people think about it that way.
I know, I'm kidding. But it's because she's my property. But I am your
We use that terminology because of a certain circumstance.
As a way of endearment, you know what? I'm gladly her property. And also, as a property, I want to make sure that this property is an asset and not a liability. Yeah, better be. But it's like every single day, just because you've got this certificate on the wall or, like in your folder somewhere, that doesn't mean shit. And who was it? I think it was like one celebrity. It was either J-Lo or The Rock or whatever. Like they got remarried to their significant other as an official form of recommitment. However, you don't need to get married every 5 years or every 10 years, though I think it's really cute and I want to do that. Because I want our weddings to evolve. This was our first wedding. This was our second wedding. This was our third wedding. But like every day, like figure out a way to recommit.
We can do whatever we want. Do you want to get married 12 times? Let's set
12 times?
Let's set the dates. We're going to live to like 150. Let's be honest.
Then, yeah, definitely. I think every decade's going to be awesome.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, to your point, it's the recommitment every day. You wake up, you have to recommit to your goals, to your relationship, to your job, to whatever is important to you, to your kids. You have to recommit.
Every morning, I was just thinking about it and I was like, wow, that's actually really cute. The first thing that we say to one another after we tell Alexa, Alexa, shut up. But after we tell Lady A to shut up, or whatever word we use, stop. Yeah. We tell one another that, like, I tell Erin, I'm like, I love you. Or she tells me first. And then Boogie crawls over. And now I get out of bed without snoozing.
For the last 3 days. You're doing really good.
I made a commitment. You guys, when I make a commitment, that's it.
I'll be impressed when 2 weeks goes by and a month goes by. I'm so proud. I'm already proud.
Just like I used to not be a morning person. For the last, 5 years, I've been waking up at 4 a.m. I am now. See, I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. I'm now a morning person. I can't imagine my life not being a morning person. I'll be so unproductive, so inefficient. I used to be a snoozer, not no more. However, I haven't practiced it long enough to make it be in my DNA. However, I can't identify myself as a no longer snoozer, because if I believe it and I recommit every single day to believe it, then guess what? Every morning, it's like I have that fight. The alarm goes off. I'm like, man, it's so cozy. And then Boogie's so cute. He's like that. And it's, you're like, oh, it would be nice to lay down. But I'm like, you made a commitment, recommit.
Yeah. So falling short of a commitment means that you're not committed. Because when you are committed, you find a way. Period. End of story. All the time, 100% of the time. When you are committed, you find a way. Nothing will stop you. When you have full commitment, nothing will stop you. Mm-hmm. You will bust through security. You will lift the car up and throw it over your head. You'll bust down doors. You'll talk to the people you're most scared to talk to. You will ask questions that make you terrified to ask. You will take actions in spite of fear. Nothing will stop you when you are fully 100% committed. Nobody can tell you no. No amount of words that anybody says can bring you down or take you off the radar. You might have difficulties and waver from time to time, but when you're committed, you immediately can correct. You either can self-correct, or you've gained the help from somebody else to help you course correct when you start to waver or get sidetracked or tempted to go off path. Nothing will stop you. And you can commit macro, big scale. I'm committed to losing 100 pounds. That's a big piece. And you can micro commit. I'm committed to doing 4 workouts a week. Rain, shine, hell, high water. I'm doing 4 workouts a week.
You can break it down to even like more micro than that.
Yeah, but there's micro, there's macro, and I think there's a time and a place for all of it.
Sure, absolutely.
Being able to set checkpoints. You know, you want to keep your eyes in the distance. Like Sarit and I have 10-year goals. Who knows what's going to happen in 10 years, really? But if we don't set our sight on something, you'll never get close. We've gotten off the topic of commitment. Now we're going into goals, but
it's all related. Like, you ain't got goals, it's hard to recommit.
Yeah.
Or commit. You got to commit to your goals.
It
all starts and it all ends with your goals, you guys.
If there's no goal, there's nothing to commit to.
Exactly. I want to share with you guys a quote from one of our very dear mentors, Dr. John Maxwell. And he says, when you really want to make a difference, you'll find the answer. And when you don't want to make a difference, you will find an excuse. And that goes to anything. You know, when you're committed, you will always find the answer. You'll always figure it out. When there is a will, there's a way. You'll make the time. You'll make the investment. You will go out of your way to do something. But if you're not really committed, you will find a way to make an excuse. I don't have time for that workout. I was really busy today, so I didn't call you. Or, you know what? I forgot. Like, it's all excuses. Wherever you go, there you are. So yeah. Do you have anything to add to that?
I just want to say, like, I love that you guys are having your own side conversation in the chat, and I'm grateful that we can see them.
You guys, we're so grateful for you taking your time to listen to this relationship conversation this morning, whether it's your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your food, your relationship with your dog, or
with the raccoons down the street,
or your relationship with your significant other. If you know that there is somebody in your life who, you know what, needs to be more committed or who's doing an amazing job, reaffirm them and share with them this video. We show up for you guys to hopefully do our part in making this world a better place. You know, we're here to add value to you, and if we do a decent job, then hopefully, you know, you guys will spread the word to, be it your significant others, your friends, your gym buddies, your accountability buddies, whoever it may be. No matter what, we know one thing for sure, that whatever goal you have in mind, don't go through it alone, because your relationships will help you to find the answer and will make the process so much better. It's not about the destination. It's all about the process.
Your relationships will help if they are
good relationships. Yes.
They will not help if they are not good quality relationships.
But if they're not, then this conversation is an opportunity. So you guys would be eternally grateful if you could please help us to spread the word and share this video with someone if this added value for you today. This is how we know whether our topics are actually making a difference or not. Also, we're on a mission to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, lifestyle, and financial habits that have transformed ours. We show up for you guys 5 days a week in order to do our part to make a difference. That being said,
actually tomorrow.
Yeah, that being said, tomorrow we will actually not have an episode.
This week it's 4 times.
This week it's 4 times, and so is next week and the week after, because we do our part in constantly educating ourselves so that we can do our best to stay on top of our game. So tomorrow, no live episode. However, we've got our lovely unicorn, Miss Stacy K, who will be taking care of you guys tomorrow. So you guys stay engaged tomorrow. We'll be thinking about you. We'll miss you. Other than that, we will see you guys.
I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
I want to just express gratitude for our whole team. Thank you, Stacy, for keeping everybody in this group engaged and up to date on what is going on. Our coaches, Crystal and Lauren, and you guys know the Chief of Happiness, Ashley. We couldn't do what we've been able to do without you guys. All of our extended teams as well. Thank you, everybody who's a part of this Improve You behind the scenes. The family is growing, and we have something really amazing coming up for you guys next week. So stay tuned, or starting next week. So stay tuned. We're really excited for what we have coming your way. Something that several of you have participated in the past. And we're going to be sharing that with you guys starting Monday. So thank you.
This time, that thing is going to give you a way better reward than ever before, by the way.
True. So yes, thank you all for showing up for yourselves. Thank you for wanting to better the quality of your own life and educate yourself and grow yourself and develop yourself, because you then will become an inspiration to other people. And this is how the world becomes a better place. It's one person at a time. It's one message at a time. It's one heartfelt conversation at a time. It's one relationship at a time. It's one goal met at a time. So thank you for participating in bettering the world, because you are bettering yourself.
Yes.
Have an amazing day, and we will see you guys next week. Bye. And then you got to press the stop button. Bye, guys.